Here we are coming to you with another virtual induction, this time for the class of 2021. We are very pleased with what we thought was going to be a very different experience, and actually did turn out to be a very different experience, but it ended up coming out very positive. And we're glad that the two classes worked together, and I don't want to say that we're glad that the 21 is moving on, but we are glad that they ended up having the same experience as many of you have had in the past if you have gone through the signature class. So we hope you enjoy what you're about to see.
Good evening. My name is Rhonda Grosky, and I'm a proud member of Leadership Lorain County's Best Class of 2021. We're pleased to welcome you to our induction ceremony, where we are celebrating our unique and rewarding year, combining virtual and in-person experiences. As a group, we were able to bond together to accomplish everything we needed to do, despite the challenges of the pandemic. We would like to thank everyone who helped us make this year possible, especially Julie and Jennifer from Leadership Lorain County, but also every organization who shared their time and talent with us. Thank you, and please enjoy your evening.
Mariah Dietz. I am a proud member of the class of 2021. Will you bow your head with me? As we gather here today as members of the Leadership Lorain County class of 21, we pray that we are ever mindful of the opportunities to render our service to our community. We give our thanks for the last year of fellowship and growth, always keeping in mind the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts towards matters in which future generations can thrive. May we stay focused on the objectives we have for the world: peace, tranquility, a true brotherhood of man, freedom from hunger, oppression, sickness, and the freedom to choose our own destinies. We give thanks for all the blessings, opportunities, and responsibilities that befall us as leaders in our community. May we continue with optimism, renewed energy, and a commitment to service. May we be challenged to give our best always, and may we be assured of your presence within us. In the Father's name I pray, amen.
I'm Tammy Cluding. I work at Second Harvest Food Bank, and I was in charge of the group that worked and volunteered over the summer. We had 3 days to volunteer at Second Harvest Food Bank, and in those 3 days, Rachel, Lauren, Tammy, Hava, Jim, Mariah, and myself put in 32 and a half hours. We did repack of boxes and sorted donated product. At Second Harvest, we do about 1,800 boxes of the CSFP program, which is boxes that go to our seniors in our service area. And we do about 5,000 boxes a month that we distribute at our direct distributions. Along with that, we sorted probably approximately 56,000 pounds of donated food every month, and none of this could happen without our volunteers. And if you don't take my word for it, watch the short video clip of the happy and thankful community members. Without all of this, volunteers couldn't make it happen.
It's hard now. It's really hard. And we feel blessed, and we thank you, God. This place has been a godsend to people.
It's a different normal. It just helps us supplement what we can't afford right now. You know, like they give out milk and dairy and stuff, and that really helps.
You go back to early March, the moment in which we realized the true impact was when we did the distribution at Elyria High School, and we ended up turning away about 150 cars that day. It became so overwhelming so quickly. Our State Food Bank Association petitioned the governor to ask for the support of the Ohio National Guard. That, coupled with the amazing staff at Second Harvest, who already had plans in place, would lead to a no-touch distribution model. Trying to keep everyone as safe as possible while delivering services as well. In April, we were serving 4,000 to 4,500 families.
We're helping people out. The one lady that has a baby, we're getting baby food for her, and whatever they put in our trunk, and we'll just distribute it. Her and I will distribute it to families. That's what we do.
I've been asked what's been our biggest success, and I said it was long before we ever got to the pandemic. We had the right people here at the organization. There's food in the warehouse, but that doesn't matter if we don't have the right people to move it. There's never a day that goes by that everyone who's here isn't worrying about who we serve.
I'm here because, not even because of it, but for the big company, with the prices of meat and groceries and everything going up, I can't afford it. I get $16 in food stamps, and this is like amazing. This is like a life-saving help.
Hi, I'm Amanda Hamilton, class of 2021, zooming along all year long. I was honored to engage with the 2021 summer intern team, along with Christy and Arnitha, as part of their networking and interview event in July. So this year's event was held in person at the Lorain County Urban League in downtown Elyria. The night started off with some light networking over some hors d'oeuvres, practicing walking up to strangers and introducing yourself, having things to talk about, working the room, try to avoid running to the restroom or hiding at the bar if there is one. Following a 3-person interview panel where me and Christy and Arnitha sat on a panel and the interns were welcome to ask us questions about our experience networking, horror stories, tips and tricks, things of that nature. After the meet and greet in the panel, we did mock one-on-one interviews. So I had the pleasure of meeting 2 young ladies, one from Oberlin and one from Lorain, and we did mock interviews. So I pretended like I was the employer, put them through the ringer, read through their resume, gave them tips and tricks on how to improve it or things I would add or remove. And I just have to say, everybody there that night was a great, young, talented young person. Following the July event, when that was over, we were invited to their graduation ceremony. So me, Christy, and Arnitha went to the Spectrum Vocation Center in downtown Lorain. And this is where the young adults and the interns presented their final projects from start to finish. And we were able to work the room and see multiples, even the ones that we didn't do the mock interviews with. They received their certificates and sort of graduated, and we had a reception and a dinner, and it was very satisfying knowing they worked so hard and had come so far, even in just a month. So thank you very much for inviting me to be part of the internship program. I enjoyed it there. Thank you.
I'm Kevin Brubaker, Safety Service Director, City of Elyria.
I'm Hava Villaverde, risk manager with Environmental Services. Our project for class of 2021 was graciously brought to us by Tammy Bertrand, Wesleyan Beacon House. Of course, this year has been unique challenges for all of us, but our first in-person meeting in May brought Tammy to come talk to us about gardening. That's a topic that personally is near and dear to my heart, but also was an opportunity for us to be in person and do an activity together, which has been very, very exciting for us. So we had a really great opportunity to work on the Wesleyan Beacon House garden. Initially, Tammy brought photos and it looked rough, and she mentioned that it had been cared for in a number of years and kind of been through a bit of neglect, and so we thought that would be a great opportunity to show some love to the local community and to Wesleyan Beacon House and rebuild their garden for them.
So the first day that we went down there as a group and went through there, and as Hava said, pictures really didn't do it justice because it was also a much larger project than what the pictures showed. But when we first showed up, the trees were overgrown, all the flower beds were overgrown. We had rows of Sharon bushes that had been blown over that they thought were dead. There were several gardens that were built with stone that were falling apart. Lamp posts that needed to be painted. It was just in general disarray, just simply because of the past couple of years due to COVID and whatnot, they weren't able to take care of it as much as they'd like to. So we got together as a group, and under Hava's leadership as a chairperson, we kind of put together a plan of what we wanted to do, and then we ended up having some Zoom meetings and some on-site meetings to go over a plan on how to reconfigure, repair, and redo, and bring some insight from all of the members to be able to bring that garden back to life again.
It was a really exciting project, not only because of the impact on folks at the Wesleyan Beacon House and the graciousness of the staff allowing us to come back and forth. We had some weather challenges. We had, of course, people's schedule and staffing challenges. And in a project like that, something like a garden where you need all hands on deck, we were really, really fortunate that everyone pitched in, not only with ideas, but with time and with availability. And that was key. And as a class, I think we really pulled together. We did have a small project core, and each time we met, we realized there was another skill set needed. So we pulled on Mariah to do some designing. We called on Kevin to help us with the local community in helping to get some mulch and some stone. We pulled on pretty much the whole class in some respect to come and weed and clean up and sweep. And each time we did a garden event, we had 4 events in total. We had a different crew with us, and that was really, really exciting. And we opened it up to everyone in the class, not only because of obviously COVID constraints and we've been on Zoom and some people were available and some weren't. We all had an opportunity to participate. We all worked together, and that was one of the best things we could hope for during our class.
So the first 2 days that we met was a Friday and Saturday, and that was cleanup day, where we went in and trimmed the trees, the bushes, cleaned up, weeded the beds, sprayed everything with different ground killers. We kind of got formulated another plan to follow so that when we did come back together to reconstruct it. And on Saturday, we had a different group, as Hava said, come in and help that could contribute at that time. So 2 days it took us to basically strip everything down and get it prepped for about 4 weeks later. We met again and we actually ordered 16 yards of mulch and 3 tons of stone to be laid out on the Friday and Saturday. And what was interesting is on that Friday and Saturday, we had such a group of people there that it made it go so much quicker. Everybody took the responsibility. Everybody took a wheelbarrow. People took shovels, and we just started spreading mulch and throwing stone. And we had so much mulch left over that we were actually able to do other aspects within the Wesleyan Village area and spruce up some other areas. And we had a group of ladies that I thought was very impressive. One of the flower beds had those large bricks, and one side of it had pretty much caved in. And on one of the cleanup days, they completely took that wall apart, and the ladies rebuilt it and shaved back some of the dirt and rebuilt that wall so it could be used again as a flower bed. That was pretty impressive.
We had a number of staff members from the Wesleyan Bacon House come out and thank us personally, which was very touching, and also residents. And when they would come out in the garden and say, we could finally be out in the garden, thank you so much for being here. So as the garden kept progressing, we was able to work on the fly a little bit. And at one point, we decided rather than take some of the garden boxes apart that we could actually use, we came up with the idea to build a little fairy garden and sort of a memorial for people who wanted to, be remembrance with their family, have a remembrance, and put little fairy people in the garden. But we had folks' spouses come out and help, children come out and be involved, and at the end of the day, it was the garden came out beautiful. We had some extra funds, and we were able to plant some mums around the outside and just do some extra nice things, repaint some lampposts, and just make it a really pretty garden. Kevin's obviously connections allowed us to get rid of things that some old chairs and some waste that were in the garden, clean that up, and just make it really, really beautiful. And the gratitude was so humbling and so nice to be able to know that we really made an impact on the community.
When we left on that second day, we knew that when we walked out of that garden, we left it in a much better way than it had probably ever been. But we were also very proud of the class of 2021 to have been able to participate in that. But it was interesting that we had not just a group from our committee, but we had other members from our class that joined in. When we walked and closed that gate for the last time, we left the Legacy Project, and I know Tammy is a part of the class of 2022, to carry on what we started and finished. And it was a proud moment for the class of 2021.
Thanks, Hava and Kevin. This is Amy Anderson. I'm Kate Byro, and we have the pleasure of reviewing our year and taking you along on our virtual, yet sometimes in-person journey. While the pandemic required us to meet virtually at the start of our sessions together, it didn't prevent us from having the opportunity to have in-depth discussions, to meet with others in our community, and to eventually execute in-person class projects aimed at serving our community. Our virtual start, of course, led us to create our class theme, Zooming Along all year long. And in support of Lorain County's mission, we can now say and join others in saying we too are LLC strong. So let's get started. In our first several sessions, we met virtually with a dive into ourselves. Who are we? What do we value? How do we like to lead and be led? Some were surprised by our results, while others, well, let's just say we've been called out for our traits before. Kevin. But what we really learned was our motivations were and how we best would work with each other and others by leveraging our strengths and being mindful of our weaknesses to accomplish challenges we face. These themes were woven throughout our time in LLC. Next, in March, we had the opportunity to meet board members from local businesses to hear about their mission, who they serve, and their goals. Several of us found interest and joined boards that aligned with our personal missions, which was particularly endearing. In April came our first opportunity to volunteer in person, finally, for the 7th annual Connecting for Kids Resource Fair, hosted at the Lorain County Community College by Connecting for Kids. This event was aimed at providing local resources to families such as therapies, mental health providers, and financial aid providers for the child who is struggling with or without a formal diagnosis. Several of us culminated resource bags, while others volunteered on site for setup, greeting, and providing resources. Talked a lot about fried chicken and set up a lot of tents. It was a good time. In May came the Leg Up Conference, which included panelists from Mercy Hospital, Lorain Police Department, Urban League, and our very own Amy Anderson with her son Anthony Hitchens. He plays for the
Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, right. Not the Raiders. Got it. The conference highlighted businesses who have risen above challenges progressed by the pandemic and stepped up for their communities in times of need, while we as a class do strive towards. And then in May and June, we did have the opportunity to join and contribute to the annual Strides for Leadership virtual 5K run and fun walk, whose proceeds benefited Save Our Children, Connections, Young Professionals, and LLCIP. We also learned that a lot of us were thankful that we could walk it. Due to the pandemic and the community's needs, we didn't take the traditional route of finding class projects. So this year instead, we focused on volunteer efforts and taking on really revitalizing the Wesleyan Village Memory Garden on top of our induction ceremony. As you've heard from Hava, Kevin, Amanda, and Tammy, our class took on these projects, clocking in over 120 project hours, about over 6 months. And it seemed that our pent-up energy from our virtual Zoom calls really pushed us to make a visible difference in these projects for our community that were especially needed in light of the hardship that our community was facing. If you happen to visit the garden, make sure to seek out the little fairy garden designed by our small volunteers. And if you're looking for a Shiva in your life for all that holiday lifting the next couple months, you'll want to reach out to Danielle Hughes, who we also have named our personal PR rep. Ask her about it.
In the summer, so starting in June, we were able to get together for different social hours from different restaurants we had met at, and then Michael graciously invited us to Wickens to have some appetizers and drinks. We did have a team potluck at Lakeview Park. That was a lot of fun. People either dropped off food, some people stayed. We did a little cornhole that didn't go real well. We weren't real good at it.
It's because you didn't have me there.
Yeah, I was terrible. We had we could support the Leadership Lorain County annual golf outing, and as you see, Michael and some of his friends were able to join with that. And then there was a networking and interview event that Christy, Amanda, and Arnitha were able to be at to interview some of the interns, just how that would look going forward in the future. We had a lot of fun in the summer where we got together more in person. I think our bond started to grow even more, just getting to know each other face to face. The Connect to a Cause and the Road Rally were awesome. the Connect to a Cause that the Community Foundation of Lorain County put on this year raised over $277,000 for Lorain County nonprofits. Leadership Lorain County received over $8,000 for that, but 1,000 individuals raised money for 65 organizations in this county, and that's just amazing. And then we had the great road rally, from singing "We Are the Champions" to speeding through, not speeding, but going very fast to get to our locations, because they said we only had X amount of hours. We're not sure the blue group went to everything because they were back so quickly, or because Kevin had, that tag in his car that said they could speed. It was really fun, from putting the skits together to just the camaraderie and everyone just like watching who was taking lead, getting the pictures. I was the only one that sucked up to the judges, except Michael forgot to put that we were the golden team on our thing. Otherwise, I think we would have won the whole thing, but it was awesome. The whole event was really fun. And that was the first time, and maybe the first time ever, two classes have combined. So we combined with our class that was zooming along all year long, and then here of 21, and then here comes class of 22. So that was kind of fun too, for that big a group to all be together and just see the different personalities. And again, that event really helped us grow closer as a team and a community and leaders in the community. Okay, our overnight retreat. It was exhausting for some of us that were older. It was fun. I know that from our big group meeting in the morning at the Antlers, and then learning to hold our superpower pose and be ready to hit any day. So that kind of started, and it was funny. I know some of us used that pose throughout that weekend, so that was fun, or the couple days. And then we had our group challenges, and I will say that our team won, because the team where Michael's standing, the team to the left of us, didn't follow the directions correctly. I love Brenda and Rona in this picture. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing. Yep, and Tammy's got her hands up, like, I'm not sure if that's when they said you like big butts or not, but that was a good one there. I really thought the whole weekend was fun. Again, it seemed like you weren't clicky with just one group of people. You kind of hung out with others, and going on the tram, hitting Speak of the Devil, having a couple drinks, having a drink or two at lunch that day. It was just a really fun activities. And going to the History Museum in Lorain was fabulous. I can say, growing up in Lorain County with the Ford plant, my dad worked there at the steel mill, my father-in-law, Lorain products, but really the whole Spanish, Hispanic culture and how they celebrated. And I never knew that history. And I've worked down on 30th Street in Lorain forever, and Vine Avenue, and just to learn that history, I think for all of us, was eye-opening. The Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Day, Mayor Whitfield of Elyria kind of told his story at the beginning, answered some questions, and then you all got together for a poverty simulation, which you didn't get to choose your circumstances like many people in Lorain County, and having to go through the different resources and the bottlenecks that get in your way and can't get childcare because you make a little too much, or you can't get help with housing because the housing costs in Lorain County are so high, but the waiting list to get on Section 8 is so long. Just to get food or support for your family when you need it isn't always the easiest. So I think the poverty simulation really was a way of opening our eyes to situations either some of us have been in, or clients we have dealt with have been in, or just our neighbors are in currently. So I think this the poverty simulation just helps us to widen our horizons, open our mind more, and just be kinder to our neighbors and be better leaders in the community to help those to help people get through those bottlenecks that happen. And the Lorain County Urban League had engaging discussion. Paris Smith, with the CEO Paris Smith. I've watched Paris Smith grow up since a little girl. She graduated with my boys, could not be prouder of her. She is just a great strength in this community. And Director of Outreach and Community Engagement, Dee Baker, just being able to have that engaging discussion there. And then our stats in review, class of 2021. So we only had 19 members. We were from nonprofit, private, and government agencies. We did approximately 120 project hours, and we had 7 volunteer opportunities. So just in our class, we've done about 60 hours on Zoom from not only our class time, but just meetings with individuals on Zoom or different committees. And then on top of that, most of us, that was our life at that time, was so many Zoom meetings, and so, we were just zoomed out. But as you see, we were zooming along all year long, and we were able to make some Lorain County connections. So we made about 30 connections across the county, and that was whether we had gone to different places during our road rally, people came to us during our overnight, and being able to meet with different leaders in the county and making those connections, and then making the connections for all of us. And I think that was one of the most important things. That's terrible. So we want to thank the Leadership Lorain County. We couldn't have done this, obviously, without Julie and Jen. We are the best class, not of 2021, we're just the best class. And we have been zooming along all year long, and now we are LLC strong. And we want to thank the Lorain County businesses and leaders. Thank you.
I came into Leadership Lorain County, I didn't know what to expect. All I knew was that the program came highly recommended, and Julie and Jennifer were awesome instructors. And on the record, Julie and Jen made me say that. But on a serious note, we've learned a lot over the past few months, and I've been really impressed with how we've all grown as individuals and leaders. We visited local businesses, learned a lot about local nonprofits, and most importantly, we learned a lot about ourselves. As we wrap up class of 2021, we today are better learners, thinkers, givers, and leaders. Now, the journey isn't done, and we'll all have plenty of opportunities to apply what we've learned, whether it be at work, volunteering, or even at home. Now raise your glass to class of 2021. May we continue to seize moments where we can stand up and make a difference.
Thank you, Danielle. And don't forget to send me your Venmo user, okay? But on a serious note, this was a year where we thought things were going to be a little complicated. They were certainly different. It was a year where we were behind our computers most of the time, and you guys did fantastic. You did wonderful with learning about yourselves, obviously respecting your fellow class members, and the fact that, you know, what you get out of the signature class is what you put in. And you guys all definitely put in 110%, and we appreciate that. Because I will tell you, it definitely kept us up at night trying to figure out how we were gonna go through with this class for 2021. And you guys made it worth it all the way. The fact that you stayed engaged, the fact that you made sure that you were still together over the summer months when we had that hiatus for projects, the fact that a lot of you went ahead and did 1, 2, but 3 projects. So you got involved in any way that you possibly could, and we appreciate that. That's what it's all about. It's giving back to your community. It's about being engaged and finding your way. And I feel like each one of you is finding your way, and that's awesome. It's a great place to be. And Jen and I are just Jen and I. And the fact of the matter is we can't do what we do without the assistance from former class members, obviously supporters, obviously community members. And we are just very, very grateful for all of what we get as far as financial help, physical help. We know that people's time is very, very important to them. And we are very, very, very appreciative for anyone who has taken the time to give back some time to Leadership Lorain County. So to the 2021 class, I don't know, we never even got to a signature on that. So I guess it's gonna be the 2021 Zoom. And hopefully this is obviously not goodbye, but we'll see you later.